Man, oh man, am I excited to make this video, because don't you just love it how anytime the Vancouver Canucks have a prospect that is noteworthy and potentially outperforming the draft slot that he was taken with in Vancouver, he ends up being labeled as a steal? Yeah, okay, I get it, it's a pattern. We talk about Canucks prospects in this way all the time, but you gotta go out there with some sort of an angle, right? And that is exactly what we have here. Because today we are heading over to the Vancouver Canucks prospect pool and talking about a guy who was written about by Kevin Woodley earlier on NHL.com, and who could potentially be seen as yet another one of these steals. Let's go out there and read this article from August 4th, 2024, again published by Kevin Woodley, NHL.com independent correspondent. Aku Koskenvuo could develop into a solid goalie down the road for the Vancouver Canucks. Under-the-radar prospect is expected to be the number 1 for Harvard this season. Now, we are talking today about a goalie prospect who is younger than I am, which is kind of making me feel a little bit old. And he was drafted a few years ago in the 2021 NHL Draft. 5th round, 137th overall. Today we are talking about Aku Koskenvuo out of Harvard in the NCAA. Now, we did make, I think, one video when Koskenvuo was drafted. It was, of course, the post-draft video, just kind of the bare-bones scouting report overview of what he was as a prospect, and that was fine, right? But admittedly, we haven't really made too many videos about Koskenvuo since the 2021 draft. In fact, I'm going onto my YouTube page right here. Koskenvuo, is there anything else? Yeah, no, it's literally just the one post from July 24th, 2021. So it's been 4 years since we had talked about this dude, but the last time we had spoken about Koskenvuo, he was a junior goaltender with the HIFK squad in the Finnish Junior League. And he wasn't really like the most incredible goaltender statistically speaking in that time frame. Sub 900 save percentage in his draft eligible year. He was taken by Vancouver 5th round, and give it a few years, he actually spent some time with the Harvard University Crimson in the Ivy League in the NCAA, posting up another sub 900 save percentage, 875 in 2 games played in his freshman year. He also had an 842 save percentage in 2 games with Team Finland at the World Juniors. But this previous season, Koskenvuo went out there and actually started to pull some weight. He had a 910 save percentage in 17 games played with Harvard and a 295 goals against. He had a negative record and 2 shutouts. So what that says to me is that his team wasn't really playing the best, but he was still going out there and producing some pretty alright numbers. In fact, I think this 910 save percentage year in 2023-2024 was the best year he has had as a goaltender in 5 years? It's been a while since Koskenvuo was actually this good, statistically speaking, in a season. So, looking at the profile, I mean, it's understandable as to why we haven't really made too many videos talking about Koskenvuo, but his sophomore season in the NCAA certainly was an improvement. With this in mind, let's go out there and read the article published by Kevin Woodley on NHL.com. Koskenvuo played only 17 games as a sophomore at Harvard last season, so it might be hard to envision the 21-year-old playing a significant role in the Vancouver Canucks crease anytime soon. However, recent history and some strength and style similarities to another Canucks puck-stopping prospect means it should not be ruled out. It would have been difficult 2 years ago to predict that Silayev, who had split 20 games between the AHL and the ECHL as a 21-year-old, would become Vancouver's starting goalie for the 2024 playoffs. They have a lot of similarities in size, athleticism, speed, and power, Canucks goaltending development coach Marco Tarini has said about Silayev and Koskenvuo. There are a lot of things. Those similarities include not getting a lot of playing time at the age of 21. Woodley then writes about the same things we had discussed, that Koskenvuo that is, did not really get too much of a role in the most previous season. He was splitting the load with the Harvard University Crimson. He had some pretty good numbers, but 17 games played isn't a lot. It seems like, though, heading into next season, according to this article, Koskenvuo will become the number 1. It's a really important season coming for him. Torenius said, Marco Torenius, Canucks goalie development coach. He's a little bit under the radar, but if he is able to get a little more game experience, I think he'll also gain some confidence, and you can start to see who he really is. Now, this is the fun part, because the article then talks about the Canucks' own projections for goaltenders and how Ian Clark has about 7 key attributes that he looks for when it comes to taking goaltenders and evaluating their performance. Ian Clark says for Koskenvuo, he hits 10 out of 10 on a few of the 7 key attributes I look for. He has a prototypical size, 6'4", and a prototypical body for the goaltending position, and the athleticism and compete and all those things I'm always looking for. How I play the game is that I play most of the situations the same way to make the game more systematic, so there are less swings in performance, Koskenvuo said. How fast your head snaps, where your eyes go, how your blades are on the post, very small stuff, but it's small details that make the big picture, so they're very important, and I think they have improved a lot. NCAA rules prevent Torenius from going on the ice with Koskenvuo during the season, but he still flew to Boston once, and they talked every few weeks, reviewing his games on video and sending clips of the Canucks' #1 Thatcher Demko. He's starting to understand that less is more, Torenius said. He can trust his body, be more compact. He doesn't need to be all over the place. He's one of those wild horses we have, and it's a long road to get those guys in balance. And interestingly enough, too, Koskenvuo says that he has gotten a lot out of watching Demko video. I tried to pick up the fundamentals of Demko's game and see how I could translate them into my game, and so far it's helping. I like how simple Demko is with his game, how he is systematic. He's very controlled, but at the end of the day, when the situation needs it, he can break off that and make big saves. The rest of the article will be linked in the description, so you could go ahead and read that if you want. But for Aku Koskenvuo going out there and pretty much citing Thatcher Demko as a good indicator as to what he could do, I kind of get a little excited there, you know? Like, most 5th-round picks, especially those from 2021, haven't amounted to anything. In fact, if we go over to the 2021 NHL 5th round, I mean, yeah, there are literally only 2 guys here who have made the NHL and at least played a game. Maltesta from the Blue Jackets and Josh Waugh from the Canadiens. Everybody else, you know, you've got Koskenvuo tossed right in there for Vancouver. Bobby Orr was taken 1 pick before Koskenvuo as well, which is kind of funny. But either way, 5th-round picks normally don't really amount to much, so the fact that there is a potential NCAA #1 starting goaltender heading into a junior year where he's got all the pressure on his shoulders next season, I think that's pretty good. And I think the stylistic comparisons and what it is that Ian Clark has said about this player and Vancouver's own perception of Koskenvuo, it's putting into place the idea that he could be some sort of an NHL player, you know, sometime down the line. Maybe he gets a game or 2, and just that by itself, I think, is enough to appropriately label the guy as some sort of a steal, because when was the last time a 5th-round pick out of nowhere had a really so-so development path in Finland, ended up going to the NCAA, had 2 seasons of not really being utilized as much, and then he becomes an NHL player. Eventually. At one point, he gets an NHL game. That's kind of the way it looks like Koskenvuo is trending towards. Of course, I don't want to say anything is guaranteed, but this upcoming season with the Crimson could be seen as a make-or-break year for Koskenvuo, and if he has the success that these Canucks goaltender guys think that he's going to be able to have, then I think we could be seeing ourselves a prospect that is worth considering maybe as a potential steal. So, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Aku Koskenvuo and the profile at hand. What are your thoughts on how he has played so far in Harvard, and what are your thoughts on how he's going to continue playing in Harvard? Does this article on NHL.com change your perspective? I honestly wasn't really informed much about how he was modeling his game after Thatcher Demko and how similar his situation was to Artur Silov's, but now that it's there, you know, it's difficult to ignore. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Aku Koskenvuo. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.